All right, so this is our last lesson in our unit price unit. This one is on currency, so it's very similar to what we did in the first lesson. This one, though, is going to give you the conversion rate. So this one's you don't have to Google. This is going off of what's right here. So this is talking about exchange rate. So that's the rate of converting one currency into another. So Canadian dollars into US dollars, or Canadian dollars into euros, or back. Okay, so these questions are all very much the same. So I'm just going to do two examples, one going one way, one going the other. So, and the assignment for this has the answers at the bottom too. So when you get to the kind of those practice problems, you can check the answers to make sure that you're doing it right, to check your understanding. So this example talks about somebody who regularly travels to the United States to buy supplies. Before traveling, he converts 500 Canadian dollars. Okay, so CAD is like for our Canadian dollars, into American dollars for personal expenses. If the Canadian dollar is worth 0.75 cents, okay, so right now it's actually like 80 cents, but for this problem, we're going to say that it's 0.75. And so if it's 0.75 of an American dollar, how many American dollars will Lucas receive in exchange for $500 Canadian? So going from like $1 Canadian is equal to 0.75 US dollars. Okay, so $2 Canadian would be $1.50, right? $3 Canadian would be $2.25, and so on. So like all we're doing is just timing the amount of dollars that we have by the conversion rate, right? By how many we would get of US dollars. Okay, this is very, very much our unit price thing again, right? So all we need to do for this question is just say 500 times 0.75, and that will give us our answer. Okay, so that ends up being $375. Check my math on that. So $375. So 500 Canadian dollars times by 0.75 gives us that, and this is, remember, US dollars that we now have. So he goes to the States, and that's how much money he has of American currency to spend. Now, the other type of problem, almost all these problems are going like this, where we say like we have Canadian dollars and we're converting it to something else. Okay, there's a couple problems that go the other way, where we say like if we have something else, how do you get back to Canadian dollars? So if we go to this question here, okay, so it says the rate for converting a Canadian dollar to the euro is 0.71. Okay, so like 1 Canadian dollar will be worth 0.718 euros. Now, how many Canadian dollars would you get for 300 euros? Okay, so when we had 1 Canadian dollar, we were getting 0.71. Okay, if we had 2, we would get twice that. Okay, we take 2 and times it by that. When we're going the other way, this would be like 1.4, 2, 3, 6. Okay, so what we were doing before was we were saying like take the amount of money that you were having, like if it was 300 Canadian, then we'd be multiplying it by 0.7180. Okay, that's what we do if we had 300 Canadian that we were converting to euro. If we're now going back the reverse way, okay, if we want to undo something like this, we're saying, okay, before we're saying like is equal to something. Now we're going the reverse way, so we're going to divide instead. Okay, if 1 Canadian dollar, if we're timesing, but to get from Canadian dollars to that, we're going to divide to go backwards. Divide to go backwards. So we'd say 300 euros divided by 0.718 will give us how many Canadian dollars that is. 300 divided by 0.718 is 417. 417.827, so I'll say 83. So this is how much we would have in Canadian dollars. So don't do this. This would be, sorry, okay, don't do this. This is converting Canadian dollars into euros. Okay, we want to convert 300 euros into Canadian. So to go backwards, we're going to divide. So just be careful with the questions. Check your answer with the answer key, and you shouldn't have much problems. But these questions are very much more of the same, just either multiplying or dividing to go back from one way or the other. So good luck on the assignment, and I'll see you in the review.